You want me to start?
I was giving it a...
And character.
Hey everyone, it's David Mendel here with Valley Premier Team and my home group.
I'm Brogan McGuire with Caliber Home Loans.
We wanted to bring to you today a market update of sorts, but want to make clear this is not an update of numbers or even like the current statistics. Everyone can get that. We can Google that, but we instead really want to bring you more of a feel of what the market is. And as always, if you guys have any questions, DM us, email us, send us a message, whatever you need to do, and we'll be happy to answer all of those. So let's get started. What does the current market look like? I was taught many years ago, no matter what the status of the thing is, to say unbelievable. The market is unbelievable. Let me expand on that a little bit. So we have a crazy market right now. What does that mean? It means that we have very low inventory. We have a lot of people wanting to buy homes, and we have incredibly low rates. There are a lot of good reasons.
Historic lows.
Yeah, a lot of good reasons to buy and to become a homeowner in this market. The downside of having low inventory, of course, is that there's a lot of competition. There are far more buyers than there are homes for sale. In fact, I had heard a recent statistic, not to get numeric about it, but that there are actually more licensed real estate agents in America than there are homes for sale currently. All right, so the current market is nuts. What is the outlook for the future? Well, real estate is cyclical, meaning that it's going to go through a full cycle. You're going to have times where there's a buyer's market, where there's tons of inventory and fewer buyers, and it's a great opportunity for people to take advantage of when you're trying to buy a home. We don't see as much of that in Arizona just because of our state economy and real estate having a lot to do with that. There are a lot of reasons that people want to be in Arizona, and we'll actually cover that in another video. But the market outlook is positive. This craziness is not going to last forever. It can't. The market will cycle again. There will become more inventory. Why? What are some of the reasons for this? Well, last year, things were going good, and then COVID. And people were unsure what they should do. They didn't know what their lives were going to look like. They didn't know what employment was going to look like. We as real estate professionals, lending professionals, we didn't know what was going to happen to the market. It was, as we've heard through the last 12 months, unprecedented. It really has been.
A lot of things up in the air that second week of March.
Absolutely.
A lot of things up in the air.
Absolutely. But when things started settling into what we call a new normal, the real estate market really picked up, and people recognized, like, hey, the brick and mortar thing may not be a thing in the permanent future. Companies recognized that they didn't need to have people in office to be productive, and because of that, it freed up people. Since they had to be home at that point, and they were likely going to be home in the foreseeable future, it freed them up to look at different housing options. They could afford to be further out from their office since they were going to go in far less, if at all. It started opening up new real estate markets in what used to be remote areas. People were willing to spend a little more to get a lot more home. And they were willing to go a little further out because they could have an office or two. They could have an office for their kids to be able to do their schoolwork and to do the homeschooling in. They could have their own office to be able to actually separate life from work and still have it all in one place. And they got the bigger yard. And so that created some new opportunities in real estate. The thing is that a lot of people recognized they want to buy. But it got to the point where they were saying, sure, I can sell the homeowners that wanted to move up, but where am I going to go to?
Right. You know, and another interesting point that I don't think a lot of people realize about the current market as well, actually has to do with birth rates, believe it or not. So the average first-time home buyer is between 30 and 35, which puts you at a millennial today in 2021. So that's going back to 1990 to 1995, give or take. And if you look back historically, birth rates shot up by about 5 or 6% for that 5-year period. Why that's impactful today is a first-time buyer obviously doesn't have anything to sell. They're not selling a home and buying another one. They're not moving up to something. They're not, moving to a different state. They're simply taking away a unit of inventory from the market. So, in addition to, like Dave mentioned, all-time low rates, unprecedented circumstances where people's housing needs are shifting, there's also this huge wave of first-time buyers that are coming into the market and trying to take advantage of the low rates and all that as well. So it's just this huge compound of factors that are creating really the craziest housing market I think we've ever seen.
It certainly is one for the record books. Where do we go from here? Well, a lot of people are concerned that this is a bubble. And I understand why a lot of people would feel that way, especially when you look at the fact that homes are selling for tens of thousands, or in some cases 100,000 plus over asking price. But that's an issue created by low inventory. There are still legitimate, great reasons why we have a strong real estate market, and why even once the inventory issue settles down, we'll continue to have a strong market. We have there are tech companies moving in. We're already a state that is usually in the top 3 for influx of people. Like, more people are moving into Arizona than in almost any other state. And that's amazing, specifically into the Metro Phoenix market. In fact, Phoenix and Vegas have gone back and forth for decades competing on who's getting more. That's a good place for us to be as homeowners, and another reason that, in the right time, it's good to be a homeowner.
So obviously we've been talking a lot about the current market situation in 2021, and it can be difficult. There are a lot of nuances to look out for in the 2021 real estate market. That being said, even if it doesn't work for you today, buying a home is never an if but a when situation. And the key takeaway that we'd like you to remember from this is, even if it's not going to work for you tomorrow, even if your situation's difficult, if COVID impacted you, it's been a hard year, we empathize, we hope you're doing well, we hope things are getting better. Never forget that home ownership is always just steps away. It's never unattainable. It's just a matter of putting yourself on that path to get there. And if you have questions about how to reach that, we would love to help answer those for you.
Yeah, it's a really great point. There's always hope for the future. There's always good and bad. In every time, in any market, there's always going to be a positive and a negative. And we know what a lot of the negatives in 2020 and even beginning into 2021 have been and currently are. The positive is that, exactly like Brogan was saying, don't give up on the idea of home ownership. There are so many great reasons to want to own a home. You've got the pride of ownership. The bottom line is, you're going to pay to live somewhere. You may as well pay yourself first instead of paying someone else's mortgage.
Right.
And really, at the end of the day, it's a wonderful investment in your own future. Whether you're thinking about that as a precursor to retirement, or if you're a little closer to that time, it's good in every regard. So good and bad, but there's always hope for the future. So stay positive. If you've got an agent you're working with, be a team player. Work with them. This market is difficult to stomach sometimes. For you as a new home buyer or a resale home buyer, there are challenges. Your agent has those challenges multiplied by as many people as they're working with currently trying to help them accomplish their goals and their dreams as well. So give them a break. We really care. We actually really care about you and your needs and your families. And so my big message of encouragement would be work together with your agent. Stay positive, stay the course, and whether the time is right now or if you've got to make a plan for a little bit from now, do that, because home ownership is within your grasp.